monitors countries with nuclear weapons or nuclear material, I should say. They released a report that was dated May 29th of this year that said that they found evidence that Iran has been lying to them about how much nuclear uranium that they had enriched and to what extent it was and for how long they have been doing it under the rules under the auspices that they were playing by a particular set of rules that were set out by this institution. They found out that they had uranium that was enriched past 60%. They found out that what they had enriched was at 60%. And going from apparently 0 to 60 takes a very long time, but going from 60 to 90, which is weapons grade material, takes a shorter amount of time. Like the first 60% takes years, where the second 60% or the second 30% takes a matter of weeks or months. And they had enough material to possibly make 9 nuclear bombs. Now, what Iran was saying was that they needed the material for medical research purposes. And we also have to remember that Iran has some of the largest oil reserves in the world, so they don't necessarily need that much power, nuclear power, because they have so much oil that it's basically free for them. So they put out a drastic warning. I saw this on Al Jazeera itself. Al Jazeera was talking about or discussing the matter of the fact that many of the other Middle Eastern countries, other Muslim countries, were concerned because they have threatened Saudi Arabia. And then a day before that, Iran directly threatened U.S. military bases in the Middle East. Sure. This is why Trump told all of the Middle East, all of the bases in the Middle East, basically to send all of their non-essential employees home back to the United States because they were preparing for a possible attack. Iran is also, their leader also has theology that's basically sort of suicidal, right? He takes like the most extreme version of his version of Islam, and he basically believes that there has to be a world or global war in order for their Messiah to come. So a lot of these things are very messianic, and a lot of very religious politics are played into the global politics, and this is why these things are sort of happening now. And that's also the difference between North Korea. North Korea isn't sort of homicidal or suicidal in that manner. They be a dictatorial force, but they don't live by ideology that basically says if we blow ourselves up and become the Shahid, which means the martyrs of the world, that we will get something in the world to come.
Ron, I actually agree with some of what you said. The idea that I think Iran likely has the amount of uranium enriched to have a nuclear weapon. I don't know if they have the ability to deliver it, but they have they would, because they've got a missile program. I don't know if they have the ability to hit us, the United States, but they probably have the ability to hit Israel. I actually do believe that. I mean, they've been close to having a nuclear weapon since the 1995.
I'm sorry, trying to interrupt you, but where is the actual evidence that they have
delivering sweetheart, there is none. But the same, there was no evidence that Pakistan had one. There was no evidence for a long time.
Pakistan had. They were secretly doing, but we knew it because they had to do tests. We knew that when they did tests. We knew when the warheads were being shipped. So what's going on?
So just there was for a long time we heard this about North Korea.
We knew North Korea was developing too.
We knew that
we seen them when they tested.
Patty, I'm in complete agreement with you on that. The thing is, Iran's not a dumb country. They're not a backward. In some cases, a lot of ways, they're ahead. They're definitely ahead of Pakistan, and they're on foreign.
Trent, I'm sorry, but you understand how nowadays nuclear tracking happens, right? if somebody actually, like,
Yes,
we
ma'am.
have a
I
way, United States knows every single time there is a nuclear change in any nuclear station, facility, or if there's a
Ma'am,
nuclear bomb that has been
Ma'am,
tested.
if you'll just allow me to finish, we actually didn't know. North Korea had a nuclear weapon 5 years before we publicly acknowledged.
That's not true.
that-
We knew. We knew when they were developing. We knew when they had. We knew when they. So the thing is, this is crazy. So we knew when they tested.
No, I'm in agreement with you on that.
So what are you talking about? That they were 5 years and we didn't know.
There was consternation in the 2000s. I can't remember that time frame whether or not they actually had it. We didn't acknowledge it until they actually tested it. Here's what I'm saying: nuclear weapons are 80-year-old technology. Okay, so the idea that countries as advanced as Iran is, I mean, when Russia is asking for Iran's help with drone technology, and Russia has massive amount of nuclear weapons, and China, it does stand to the reason that there could have been a trade. I'm not saying that definitely happened, but we aren't talking about technology that is brand new, and so I give a possibility. I give very good credence to the possibility that Iran does have nuclear weapons, which is why I think that this is at the level of the Cuban Missile Crisis, or if you want to go with Mike Huckabee with Truman, this is a very, very serious decision. There are 17 million people in the metro area of Tehran, and if you hit that Fordo plant, to Katrina's point, it is going to cause fallout, and you're going to have a refugee disaster in the area with people pouring in across the U.S. I don't know what the right decision is, but I know that we're at the moment of a huge decision. No.
So, Trent,
What do we do
here's
with the
sweetheart.
dumb
Trent,
thing in the
sweetheart,
chat
here's
about
the thing.
America not being allied with Japan and South Korea? We have mutual defense agreements with both of those countries, so I don't know why.
Yes,
people
that
are
was
saying-
stupid. The law.
What was that dumbass
That
shit?
is our allies. They are our allies.
I just wanted to respond, Trent, sweetheart. Listen to me.
So conservative.
Those are, again, and I would like you, I guess, just make it clear when you talk to public, right? Because some people might listen to you, right? And if you don't make it clear that it is your assumption and it is your fantasy, right? I think that is a very big difference than saying the possibility of them. They definitely have, nuclear weapons. Just because Russia definitely is could be helping them. But again, right now, there's absolutely no evidence of them actually having a nuclear weapon and testing a one like North Korea did. Okay, so this is insane. I don't understand why people are you take your own presumable fantasies and make it sound like it's a fact. It's not. And the United States will know if Iran actually had a nuke, like if they had a weapon. They would know that. Come on. We're not stupid. And if Russia actually, and your take on the fact that Russia just gave them one, you don't think United States will know that as well?
No.
No?
It's a good place.
Do you think
Even if Russia gave him one, it's still going to be controlled by Russia, right? Because you can't just launch a nuclear weapon. You do know that, right?
No, I think they could pass the nuclear weapon if they want.
You can't just launch it. No, it doesn't work like that.
So I sent the report.
I said that Russia could have, for the help and assistance in drone, Russia could have passed enriched uranium or a nuclear warhead to Iran. It is very possible.
So I put in the chat an article. Actually, I put it in the report from the IAEA, which is a 20-something page report detailing their findings on Iran and why the warning was put out. And then I put an article about Iran's underground missile city, this underground factory.
Okay, so what does the report say? Go ahead and brief us.
The briefing says that they have tested certain areas where uranium was.
No, that's I'm talking about. Okay, so yeah, they tested because they do their inspections, and there was what is it called, residue. So outside of that, what exactly is this report supposed to be telling us?
That there was residue.
No, that's telling you that they have a weapon.
Are you allowing me to finish? Okay. Yeah. So while they are not saying that they have a weapon, that they are saying that that Iran is doing some shady shit with uranium, and they don't know exactly what they're doing, and they don't want them to have a weapon. That's what they're saying, right?
Okay.
And it's not that you want. It's not that you want. It's not that you want to end fine. You want to prevent them from having a weapon. You don't want to wait for them to get to the point where they have a weapon, or at least fissionable material or enriched material that they can attach to a missile and then deploy, right? You don't want to wait till they get.
And so it doesn't attach to a missile like that. So check this out. So we've heard about those little reports, right? And they are big. It's a big thing. But the thing is, we pulled out of an agreement where they got rid of centrifuges. They reduced their uranium levels to 3.57%, something like that. We'd have to Google it real quick. So all this happened under the Obama administration. So you're going to tell a country that when we said fuck you, and now we're putting sanctions back on you, and we're going to take your money to not do something. So guess what they decided? They decided that they were going to continue their uranium enrichment program because the United States didn't fall. The U.S. said fuck you, put sanctions back on them. This is a fucking country where their leadership is like this. I think it was stupid. It was a stupid decision, and now they're willing to go back to the JCPOA levels of 2015. If they're willing to do it, why not?
Yeah, but though I don't understand what the point is. There are two different issues.
No, the point is for them to not have a nuclear weapon.
Yeah, that's fine.
And we had a program, Ron. We had a way to control, right, to make sure that they don't have a nuclear weapon.
No, I agree.
And that was Obama signed it in 2015, right? And we had full access. Hold on. In 2015, and we had full access, right? And I actually went back and read today on purpose, and I posted a link in the chat. I can repost it from the .gov, right, website, that actually they were following all the rules. They were following all the rules. That's why some money was unfrozen. That's why partially, little by little, some sanctions were lifted because they were actually following the rules. And the inspectors came in. They didn't. They had access to everything that they were supposed to have. So we as the United States make a deal with a country, right? And we say, hey, you can have a nuclear power station. We just want to make sure and check it and give us access and blah, blah, blah. And if you follow certain rules, we'll lift economic sanctions. They do it. They comply, right, with the agreement. And then in 2018, Trump just goes, no, we're pulling out. And because the United States pulled out, other countries also pulled out, right? So now you have no agreement. So to say that, hey, they are not supposed to develop and enrich and everything else, we don't have an agreement with them. How can we even sit there and say legally on paper that they're not allowed to do something like that because they said they're not going to do it? We walked out. We are the one who broke the agreement. And of course, now there isn't really like no rails on that, no rules and strict, and then we're sitting here and saying, well, we need to make sure that.
He was trying to do, but she has been hyped on this app so much that just kind of limits, right? Because even too much soda, you'll get kidney stones and you'll frickin' die off of that. So yeah, don't drink Red Bull.
Ian, do you drink at all?
No, I don't drink. I don't touch the stuff.
So
barely. It's like I'm a social drinker.
What's your favorite cocktail though?
I would say pina colada or mojito. Yeah.
Pina colada.
Pina colada. Yeah. love that.
So,
Next time, try a tequila sunrise on me, bro. It's just OJ.
I'll try some,
so Ian, when
Yeah,
you
I
say
have sushi.
Ian, when you say that the Jews killed JFK, were you drinking, or do you really believe that shit?
I didn't say that. When did I ever say that?
In an Adrian Dittman, aka Elon Musk space, where you're like, the Jews killed JFK.
That was a reference to what people would say. I don't.
Oh, it's a reference to what other people say. Got it. Okay.
Yeah,
You don't drink pina coladas.
I don't think the Jews.
I do love your
so
content, though.
People are expecting it, right? When they released JFK files, and I was looking through the files, and there's a mention of some Jewish guy, but there's nothing to do with JFK. Yeah.
Oh, God. So the Jews didn't kill JFK. Okay. So who did kill JFK? Was it the Pentagon, the CIA? Was it Lyndon Johnson? Who did it?
Honestly, probably the Cubans. Yeah.
You think the Cubans killed? You think the Cubans assassinated JFK in Dallas?
I think so. Yeah. I think they hired that one guy, or at least they didn't hire him. I mean, he seemed to be lost, right? What's his name? Lee Harvey Oswald, right? He was trying to reach out to the Russian embassy. He was trying to reach out to KGB contacts that he knew because he lived in Russia for I think like 2 years. His wife is Russian, and he tried to get them to green light an assassination of some sort. I think on JFK, and they just said no, we don't want that, right? So he was shopping around, and I think he might have finally got buyers in Cuba.
Are you saying Lee Harvey Oswald? That guy's a patsy. He's a fucking loser. He didn't pull the fucking trigger that did the shot.
Loser, but so all these guys, every single one of these fucking guys, just like the dude who took a shot at Trump and missed, right? He was a loser too, and I don't think anybody put him up to it. I think these guys are just very politically engaged. They're perhaps too obsessed, like the one dude in Minnesota.
Well, how would they know? They cremate the body. They sanitize everything. There's no investigation, no transparency. It's a cover-up.
Honestly, that is very stupid of them, and they shouldn't do that. Yeah.
They do it because it's so embarrassing to the United States government and our leaders and these Democrat, communist, neo-Marxist, socialist terrorists that they don't even want to embarrass the country because our leadership is so embarrassing.
That's true. It is embarrassing.
So I don't want to come in here and sound like an absolute retard, but we just saw a Boeing 787 crash in India, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
And you see the aircraft in the building. Now, granted, of course, the 9/11 attacks were carried out at much higher rate of speed, but you saw a massive fireball in the 787 Indian air disaster, and yet the building stood. And then just a few days later, just a few days ago, we saw buildings in Dubai that were on fire.
It was one building, yeah. It was Marina Plaza.
No, I think it was more than one actually.
No, it's one. It was just one. There's a big fire. They put it out in I think 6 to 8 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, but the photographs, Ian, show quite a large number of floors destroyed by the fire. Yeah. And so we look at this as thinking humans, right? Not engineers necessarily.
Guadalupe was formed as an organization.
There is,
but the political stuff, Jack, here with my groups, we are making success worming out some of the folks who want to cause trouble and be assholes and, just generally not do things. I had a productive discussion with somebody in my club who was complaining about the protests, and I was like, well, there are more American flags than Mexican ones, and he, something's still wrong. I'm like, okay, well, you need to just admit you don't like their protests, which is fine. You can right at that point of view, but don't tell me that you don't like their protests because it doesn't have enough American flags, and then when I tell you it's got more American flags, it's got Mexican flags, say, no, I still don't like what they have to say.